This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun.
Hey, you guys, this is Gina Shock, drummer of the Go-Go's.
Snowman here.
Hey, Mary Jo Peel here.
Hi, this is Kathy Ladman.
Hi, this is Jay Nedry from the Road Ducks.
This is A.D. Adams, and you are tuned in to Fowl Players Radio with your host, Michael Spedden.
Hi, this is Bud Becker.
Hi, everybody. Dwight Weems from Gaz the Fun Band.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David.
Hey, this is Brian Damage from Kix and Rhino Bucket.
Hi, this is Kim of Kim's Crypt.
Hello, my name is Gunhild Carling.
Hi, this is Paul Castiglia, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the one-stop shop for all your pop culture needs.
And welcome again to Season 11 of Fowl Players Radio. Tonight, our guest is Will Sims, a singer, musician, and songwriter from the Baltimore area, joining us tonight to talk about his music, his favorite venues, and getting out on the road this year to spread his music. You can find his website, his podcast, and most of his social media by typing in "Who is Will Sims?" I had a great time speaking with him, and I was recently on the Who is Will Sims podcast as a guest. Didn't let the poor guy get a word in edgewise the whole time, but had a great time. And tonight he was with us and told some really great stories and shared a lot of great experiences, and I really enjoyed having him. The Fowl Players of Perryville are back in action and have upcoming shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing, also Susky River Beverage Company, and Maryland Party Boat. If you're interested in seeing a show, our website is www.fowlplayersofperryville.com. If you're interested in booking us, fowlplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Remember, every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. is the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide, where we feature songs you forgot you liked, classics that never die, interviews with up-and-coming and beloved classic bands. Go to 97underground.com, download the free app today, listen to us wherever you go. You can also see the archive of my interviews on 97 Underground at 97 Underground Michael Spedden on YouTube, youtube.com/@97 Underground Michael Spedden. We thank you for watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio. Our main website is fowlplayersradio.com. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Remember to support our guests in their endeavors. Links to their books, albums, tickets to their shows, and much more can be found in the show notes of each episode. We'll be back right after these words with Will Sims.
Hi, this is Bud Becker.
Hi, everybody. Dwight Weems from Gaz the Fun Band.
Hi, folks. This is Jay David.
Hey, this is Brian Damage from Kix and Rhino Bucket.
Hi, this is Kim of Kim's Crypt.
Hello, my name is Gunhild Carling.
Hi, this is Paul Castiglia, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio, the one-stop shop for all your pop culture needs.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. Michael Spedden here in Season 11. We've got 11 seasons. It goes up to 11. It's going to go past 11, I hope. So welcome today, Will Sims. Will Sims. I was recently a guest on his podcast, and again, he could have slept through the whole thing because I was just blah, 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 and gabbing on and on and on and on and on. And I looked over at his screen. I see like little feet hanging from the ceiling, you know, like an airplane when he talked that old lady's ear off. And then I looked over again, and he's pouring gasoline on himself, and so anyway, welcome, Will. You've got all kinds of great news for us now, out playing and writing and doing all that stuff. So welcome.
Good to be here. A pleasure to come on to your podcast so I can talk your ear off.
Exactly. So you were telling me that you've got a lot of shows lined up. You're going to be doing some traveling, going out on the road. You've got some material that I've been playing on 97 Underground. So tell us a bit about that, what you've been up to.
So I just released my a record back in October called You Have a Voice, Use It. And it's got some pretty intense songs on it, pretty heavy stuff for in comparison to what I've released before, but it's also got like some really like beautiful ballads on there and some really lovely songs.
Well, good, good, good. And you plan on going around and spreading the word about your stuff, huh?
So it's the least I can do,
Yep.
try to spread the good word. Yeah, I've got dates booked all over Maryland, from Western Maryland to Southern Maryland, and I'll be hitting North Carolina a bunch. I've got like 5 or 6 dates all over the place down there, and then I've got a gig in Georgia, gig in Virginia, gig in Delaware, but that's just getting started. Like I'm still got stuff that's going to be coming in.
Well, good. It really sounds like you're getting up and down the East Coast, which is great. There's a lot of great places to play up and down the East Coast, especially like where in North Carolina are you going to hit?
I'm going to be hitting Wilmington. I'm going to
Oh,
be
yeah.
hitting Moorhead Beach. I'm going to be hitting Charlotte and Raleigh.
Raleigh, yeah, yeah. Well, Wilmington and any of the Outer Banks, towns, anything on the water in North Carolina is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. They're the only shore gigs I have right now, but it's awesome to get to go travel to these places and check them out.
Sure. It's great to get out and everything, and to really see how your material and everything and how you're received by an out of town crowd.
Yeah, we just did one in West Virginia, and it was like this. It was like a meat shop, which was cool. Like they had amazing food, but people would just come out and they just kind of hang out and listen to you play, and it's not like you're not getting like a round of applause every set, but I think that's like that's like their big night out, is just them coming to watch someone play, and so we had a lot of fun, and everyone there was really nice.
Yeah, where in West Virginia was it?
It's like Martinsburg.
Oh, Martinsburg's a great town. Martinsburg is a great town. Everywhere in the Panhandle is great. There's Shepherdtown is nice. Charlestown is great. It is really nice out there. I can say from experience, having performed out there myself, and it's not far from Cumberland, where I perform a lot too.
Yeah, my grandmother on my father's side kind of lives out past Cumberland, like on the West Virginia side, but I've been up there a bunch of times throughout the years.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I mean, there are some really nice places out there to play and everything, and collegey. Some of the towns are kind of collegey. Other ones are kind of what's the word I want to kind of describe it? Maybe artsy, bohemian, kind of like the Avenue in Hamden or Havre de Grace, or the kind of feel I'm talking about.
Yeah, like there's just like a lot of room, lot of spaces for creativity and
right
stuff like that.
Artisan-ish, I guess, with that.
Yeah.
Yep. Berkeley Springs is another one that's like that too. A lot of neat stuff out there. So West Virginia, and then you'd mentioned North Carolina. How about Delaware? Where are you hitting there?
We're going to Newark, to a place called Halftime.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's actually not far from, that's like right over the line from Cecil County. That's just right in Delaware there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And do you play? Will this be like a first time?
Yeah, this will be my first time playing in Delaware, like an actual show. Like we went me and when I was in my old band, Roll It Over, we went over to Dover. I always think it was near Dover, and this guy was doing like a college radio show. And we went on his
Hmm.
show and did like a live interview and stuff. But
Oh, wonderful.
I don't think we played anything. But
Uh-huh.
but yeah, so the show is actually this guy does a series of shows called Sonar Fest, and he does them kind of at a bunch of venues on the
Mhm.
East Coast. And I think the guy, it's one of the guitar players from this band Soulfly is
Hmm.
like the kind of like the headliner.
Oh,
So it should
sure.
be a cool show. Lots of rock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds good. Sounds good. So, well, it really sounds like you're spreading your wings there and you're really covering a lot of territory this year. Well, good for you. Amen,
Yeah, I mean, every gig I'm lucky. I have lots of people that are like surprised or blown away by what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me it's just what I do, but they're usually surprised by like, certain songs I sing. If I do like a certain cover they're not expecting, or just my ability to sing overall though. My favorite is when they go like I can't believe that voice came out of you. Like I wasn't expecting that at all.
What did they expect? I mean, that's a,
Yeah,
that's a heck
it's
of a
like
comment.
I know. I try to I try to take it, because I think most people mean well, but yeah,
Right.
sometimes they say something and I'm kind of like, well, what'd you think I was just gonna go up there and be like, la la la, and they're just gonna be like, yeah, this guy's horrible.
Right, right, right. Well, that's something good. So when did all this begin for you? What actually inspired you to get into this crazy stuff that we're into here?
So when I was a kid, I used to sing along with all kinds of songs on the radio. Like I remember one of my favorites was like "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me,"
Mm-hmm.
when that was when the George Michael Elton John version was big on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I would sing along, and eventually my dad bought me like, some albums. I had like, I think the first couple I had were like Matchbox 20's Yourself or Someone Like You, their first record, and then that first Vertical Horizon record that was like really big. And then, from there, I picked up some other, 90s records. And I used to do chores around the house, and I'd have headphones on, be singing the songs, thinking no one could hear me over like, the vacuum cleaner or whatever. But I'm sure now in
Mm-hmm.
retrospect, they were just like, what is wrong with that, that kid? But
Mm-hmm.
I never like thought like I'm gonna be a singer. It was just kind of like a fantasy,
Sure, sure.
but uh and I eventually throughout high school I started writing lyrics and toying with the idea of writing my own songs. And I don't think I ever really thought any of them were that great. I think there was a couple that I thought had potential, but
Mhm.
and then before my senior year of high school, like I picked up the acoustic guitar like that summer, and I just kept playing it like every day, like just trying to learn how it works, start learning songs, learning all the chords. And that I played all through high school. And then eventually, after I kind of got my first job after high school, I was like, hey, maybe I'll see if I can join a band. So I went out and I met some people, and we jammed a little bit. And I was thinking, oh, I'll just play guitar, rhythm guitar. I'm not like gonna shred any solos, but I'm happy to, to fill out that sound. And we were all just kind of sitting around, and they were like, well, we need a singer. Like they were like, let's all take turns singing, and whoever has the best voice, they'll be the singer.
Hmm.
Like, all right. And then so that I was like, I'll go first. I got a song. So I sat down and played this song and sang it, and they were like, okay, you're the singer. and and then it was funny, like there was this one guy, and I remember him being good at guitar, but like when you don't know anything, everyone seems good. And
Yeah.
and it was me and a drummer, and that the one guitar player never came back. He was just kind of like, oh, I'm busy with stuff, so we spent like about a year or so like trying out different people. We come in, and jam a song, a few songs, and then a few weeks later we come in, jam them again, and then I think I did like a couple shows that like someone was like, hey, we're doing this show, like you guys want to come open for us.
Well, right,
And
right.
we came and played, and like I tried to bring the band, and we were a little rough, and and so but people were telling me basically, they're like, you have a really good voice, but you should go take voice lessons and really like get control of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did that for a year and a half. I did that. I went through a couple different phases of some different bands. There was a couple groups where we got together, we wrote some songs, and a lot of these songs, some of these songs I really liked. They just, when the band kind of dissolved, nothing really, they were just kind of sitting there. So I did kind of rework a lot of them into what became, some of my earlier records, my earlier solo records. But I'd say like the first like real like band that was doing stuff was a band called Far From Sundown, and we started that, I want to say around 08. And we were together for about a year, and then after that kind of fell apart. I started Roll It Over with some guys that I just met, and that was kind of my band for I think like 3 or 4 years. I think we went from about 2010 to 2014-ish. And it went through a couple lineups, but we did record an album and put it out, and we played all kinds of shows in Maryland, got to open for some really cool bands, and we opened for Taproot and Small Empty Soul and 12 Stones, so like some pretty decent bands that came through. But I when that band broke up, like we finally had an album, I was like, I really want to push this album, but I either need to form a new lineup and try to convince them to continue as this band. And then there was some back and forth with the former band members, because everyone felt like we put our work into this album, and it was kind of this special thing, and so I didn't think, I was kind of being selfish and like trying to, I mean, I wanted to push the music, but I wanted to keep the band name. And then eventually I decided, I was like, I should just be a solo act, and then that'll kind of solve all my problems. I'll and then I can make whatever music I want.
Yep.
I don't have to adhere to like any sort of expectation of what like my band should be or what. And yeah, ever since then it's been quite the ride. I kind of immediately went into like 3 or 4 different studios and was recording like several albums at once. I'd be in 2 or 3 sessions a week, in different places, and yeah, I a lot of that stuff's out now, but I've kind of streamlined my approach to recording and putting out music at this point.
Yeah,
but I've got 4 albums out and some singles and music videos and all that stuff, so I've been getting the work done. It's just been time and money.
Sure. That's just the one restraint, really. That's just the one restraint is, time and money. But I understand exactly what you're talking about, and that was one of the things that I dealt with in the bands I was in, was personalities, conflicts. This one doesn't want to do this. This one doesn't want to do that. This one doesn't want to show up. It is a lot easier when you're calling the shots. Do you agree?
I mean, in most band scenarios, there should be one person in charge, and even in that last band, like we almost were kind of going back and forth. All right, well, you're in charge. All right, cool. I'll do whatever you say. You run the band. And then it's like they get sick of it, and it's like it's just one of those things where like there's no easy way forward. But like I was always more ambitious, more creative, just in terms of like wanting to try things, let's get out there and try. Let's go do a show like this. Let's learn some covers and mix our originals in with it and see if we can get some paid gigs, and it was just, it's just, one of those things. Everyone kind of has a different viewpoint of it, and nobody's wrong. It's just a matter of getting everyone to agree to try it, and
Sure.
and now I don't have that problem. Now I'm like, hey guys, I booked this gig. We're going to do some originals, we're going to do some covers, and we're going to have a good time, and we're going to make it an awesome show. And I haven't had any issues yet.
Yep. It's not an easy thing getting out there and doing all originals, even though a lot of times it's a lot more satisfying. I was never one to particularly enjoy doing a lot of cover songs. Most of the bands I was in, we were majority original material. And that's always the way I wanted it. That was always my preference. I never enjoyed, I figured, if I'm going to put the time and effort into something, people are going to hear me. You do need, well, again, when you get out there and you put a project together and you start playing, you do need to have, you can't just get out and do, all right, here are my 2 originals. These are the only songs I have down now, folks. So enjoy, and or I'll play them over and over again all night, one after another, until you all walk out. So you got to have enough to fill out a set, obviously, but it was kind of like the replacement thing, one comes, one goes,
Yeah, I mean, I've got enough songs to choose from now that I know, like, oh, this will work in a bar. Like, people, this is upbeat and energetic, and then just knowing which songs to play in which environment. But you don't want to bore everyone with a bunch of slow songs, but it's nice to have one in there here and there.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's been a fun experience, and especially my kind of, the way I've had to do it is, I basically have a whole roster of musicians that I can reach out to here and there, and so it's just, every person brings in a different flavor, and they all know different songs, so it keeps it fun. Everyone kind of brings their own approach to my songs, which is cool. So that's like, you get like kind of like a new interesting version of it. Not that far off from the original, but it's like, just like a different flavor of, the performance. So so it's cool, like and it's always fun to see how that comes together in the live show.
It's good to have a good roster of people you could choose from, or kind of like a bench, so to say. It's never fun to get out there and try to find new members, though. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, I mean, luckily most people, they've either seen my stuff around and they're like, oh, like, they already have the respect for what I'm doing, or they're just people I played with over the years and they were in other bands and they've seen me. But yeah, that's the real trick, is like, and because I don't want to be like, all right, this is the Will Sims band now, and then after like 6 months they're like, yeah, we're burned out with this, like we don't want to do this anymore. It's like,
sure.
So it's like I've got like a lot of different people that know a lot of my songs, so it's just kind of like, all right, we're gonna get together, we're gonna do these songs, we're gonna do these covers, and we're gonna have a good time.
Right. But I'll tell you, when you have auditions, or if you that's half the battle right there, is finding the people. Because believe me, I've had some years ago trying to fill open spots. Somebody leaves or somebody quits in the audition process. Oh, good Lord, I could tell you some stories about some of the people that came down.
Yeah, I can imagine, like we had one guy come out to one of my old bands. We were looking for a drummer, and this guy came out, and I don't think he knew how to play drums, but he was like, we sent him the 2 songs. One was kind of like a, an up, like kind of like a up, like it was a rock song, guitar riff. The songs had drums on them. It's not like we sent him instrumentals and was like, here, come up with whatever you want. And one was kind of like a slow ballad. And this guy came out and he he starts like playing this beat over it that like wasn't even in the same like BPM was the song, like it was at a completely different tempo. And we were just like, all right, like maybe he thinks, I was like, in my head, I was like, maybe he's getting the songs mixed up. Like, let's all right, let's do the other one. And then we did the other one. He played the same beat of the same tempo, but now it was like faster than the slow song. And we were just like, I was like, I tell you what, man, like I say you go home and you work on these some more. I was like, we're ending this practice like right now. Like we're not like, so it's just, yeah, it's funny how, especially in the Craigslist stage, you never knew what you were going to get. Like,
Oh yeah. Well, it was the same thing 2 years ago when it was, before we really, I was in like the pre-internet era playing where you had the flyers you'd put up at Gordon Miller or Bill's Music House, and they would rip the little phone number off and call you, or you would put an ad in either, back in those days, it was Rocks Magazine or Maryland Musician, and somebody would call. And I'm convinced a lot of these people just wanted to come down and fool around with a band for a night. They really had no intention of doing anything, because you'd show up and they would say they were experienced, but you could tell they walk in the room, they didn't know what they were doing. And I mean, one guy, just like an experience you had, we had a guy come down and we told him a bunch of songs to learn. We gave him a bunch of songs to learn. We told him, we want you to learn this. He didn't learn any of them. And so we just started playing and jamming on something. We're saying, just sing. All right. We were fed up with him at that point. And so we're sitting there playing along. It was kind of like something kind of like power ballady for the time. And then he goes over and he just like runs his finger up along the drummer's wind chimes. It was like, and he goes, dreams. And he kept saying dreams. And we're like, who the hell is this guy? And and we had a bunch of other ones too. We had one guy come down. It was our guitar player was graduating high school that day. So, and he was having his graduation party. So we told this guy, all right, look, we'll come down, we'll hear you. We're going to have a quick band practice. Come down and sing. Well, he was awful. And, he comes in, it was like the middle of, like hot. It was like, beginning of June, 90 degrees that day. He comes full leather, hair teased out and everything. Comes in, and then he goes around back, we're sort of like, all right, well, thank you very much. And he stays for the graduation party, and he didn't leave the whole time. And he sits on a lawn chair, like a lounge lawn chair. He's sitting there making his girlfriend get him beer and hot dogs all day.
Man.
Yeah. Some people just don't get the concept of don't call us, we'll call you, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely some interesting folks out there for sure.
Mm-hmm. You get some of these guys that wonder why they never get picked,
I mean, there's the one guy, I don't want to say his name, but there's a guy who's got like his own music project, and I've booked him for some gigs, and like he's got like a YouTube channel with like a bunch of music videos that he made himself, which are basically just him in front of a green screen, like doing a silly dance.
Yeah.
And singing the song. And he's just like really like, it's just so goofy and off the wall. It's always like, this guy can't be serious, right? Like he's obviously just like a joke or whatever. But like he's literally got like a Wikipedia page that I'm pretty sure he made himself, that it's like he's a this and a that, and he does this, and he's a dream reenactor and like all this stuff. And so so like I was like, I'm booking this guy for a gig. Like I gotta see what this guy's deal is. So I book him for this at this place, The Circuit, right? And this guy shows up with a band. Like they show up and they're like, like me and I'm trying to remember who was there with me, but we're both standing there in awe while this guy does his set. And at one point he's like, this one goes out to my beautiful wife. And like we look over and she's on this couch and she's just like completely out. And so after he's done, we go over to like the bandmates and we're like, what's this guy's deal? Like, what's like, why are you guys here? He's like, he pays us to come play these gigs. Like, you know, he just like, he's like, I'll give you money, come play these songs. And they do that. I guess, you know, when you're a working musician, you'll take a gig if you get it. But
You know, money's green, I guess, huh?
but yeah, and then yeah, so I had him do a couple gigs, and he was, you know, like I said, if he's living his best life, I asked him, I was like, so what do you? We were like, so what do you do for a living? He's like, I quit my job, you know, 10 years ago and never looked back. I was like, this guy must have won like the lottery or something. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way, you know. So but you know, good for him. If he's living the life he wants, then I can't complain about it.
Wow.
But it was just like one of those things where just like, man, like this guy's like just in his own world, and it's, you know, you kind of envy it a little bit, but you know, hey, we're all out here doing our best.
That must be why his wife is so zonked out on the couch, because she's probably working 3 jobs to support him.
Totally possible.
I tell you, there are some characters out there, you know. I can tell you a lot more audition stories and a lot more things that I witnessed, you know, playing out there, and just seeing some of the people that, you know, some of the projects and different things you've seen. And yeah, I mean, hey, you know, people will get out there and back you too. Again, money's green, you know, and not always plentiful when you're doing this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's always you know, I know a lot of people that, you know, are playing music full time, and it's almost like they don't have, it's like they barely have time to do, like, you know, to write their own stuff, or like do the stuff they love, you know. So it's a lot of work to stay on top of it and keep a full schedule. And we have a pretty large scene here. There's a lot of musicians that are, you know, looking for those gigs and trying to make it out here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, and then yeah, and getting around too, you know, like you are, you know, finding places out of town to play and everything. I'm not sure so many people are coming here. That's the thing that I kind of think, you know, we're more or less looking for other places to play and going out of town, but I'm not seeing a lot of people coming here.
Right, like a lot of out of town people coming here, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they watched The Wire and decided not to.
Yeah, it's funny. There is that sort of stigma amongst some people that you know,
Right.
but yeah, you know, I like, yeah, I know a lot of acts that like they'll hit DC and then go right to Philly, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's true. Yeah, DC's
that's
great.
also partially, I think, that there's just not as many places that are around here that are kind of open to that, like having a band that's from out of town. You know, if you're lucky, you know somebody, or you make that connection, and you work out some kind of deal. I mean, I know I've put together some shows here where there were some bands from out of town, and you know, they came and they had a good gig, you know, but like, you know, it's you kind of have to have that connection with the venue already.
Right. And yeah, and it's a tough thing too when you're doing more originals than covers, really, too. You know, and especially if you're not the kind of band, you know, that really wants to make a living doing that kind of thing. You know, you know, getting people in that have heard of you, or are willing to hear of you, or willing to come see and at least try you out. It's not an easy thing around here at all.
I mean, I know for me, like like I had to work for years really to get to that point where I think people take me serious when I send them my stuff, you know. And you know, I still email places and don't get responses, or they'll ask for, you know, some other thing, and I give them that, and then they're like, all right, and then I never hear from them again, you know. But I also know that, you know, venue people that run the venues and are booking these venues are probably super busy, and they've got, you know, 1,000,001 things going on. So always try to be open-minded about that. But you know, sometimes you get like an out of the, like this last gig I did at this place Toots in Hollywood, Maryland. It was kind of like a last minute thing. They just emailed me like on a Tuesday and were like, hey, can you play this Friday? And so like I, you know, had to do the whole thing of like texting like 100 different band members, like, hey, like, can you do a gig this Friday for, basically, nothing when you consider, it's like a 2-hour drive. So I was able to pull together a couple guys, and we went down, did it as a 3-piece. We just put together a bunch of songs we knew and wung it. We'd never played together. The three of us had never played together before, and they liked us enough that they booked us on St. Patrick's Day, and they booked a couple other gigs with us this year. So,
hey,
so you just get out there and you bring it. It might not be like as much as I love the idea we're going to play this song exactly like the record and everything's going to sound pristine and perfect, but sometimes you got to go the punk rock route and just like bash them out and headbang and sing at the top of your lungs and hope that they're into it. If there's one thing I've learned with cover bands, it's like you don't have to be great playing a lot of these songs. I've seen some people, they come in a Crazy Train and they're playing the riff and it's like, is this Crazy Train? And then they start saying like, yeah, this Crazy Train, I would have never guessed it by all the wrong notes that guy was playing, and then the singer can barely hit the notes, but people get up and they're like dancing and like going nuts. And it's like, you don't even have to be that great. As long as it's a song they know and they're excited to hear it, then, they're going to be having a good time.
Sometimes when you see people reacting and they're into it and you're doubting yourself, just go with it.
Right.
Just don't question it, because apparently they're not.
I mean, you never know. Like I said, and I did one gig when I was with my last band. We did this one gig. It was like I don't know, like 3 or 4 o'clock on a Sunday. It was daylight out. We were in this bar, and there was a bunch of people there, and like there was like some people hanging out right at the front of the stage, and we're sitting there and we're singing these songs. Half of them we hadn't even played out live yet because we were just recording them, and we were like, hey, let's debut them at this gig. And there's this lady like standing right in front of me, maybe in her 40s or whatever, and she's singing along with every word of every song, and I'm just like, there's no way this lady knows I don't even know who she is. And I'm like looking at everyone in the band like, do you know her? Do you know her? But she was just kind of like mouthing along to like every song, like no idea what the words are. Like but she's still singing, just like having the best damn time of her life. And I remember coming up after, I was just like, have you seen us before? She's like, nah, you guys were great. Like I was having just like, all right, party. Like, I guess, you just got to take the good when it comes,
Exactly. Sometimes when you don't expect it, or sometimes when there's no rhyme nor reason to it, but it turns out good, and run with it,
Yeah.
Oh, and sometimes, you end up having a huge show in the most unexpected places, or at the most unexpected times, or the most unexpected circumstances end up being, some of your most memorable,
Yeah, I mean, we did one. It was up in Westchester, PA.
Oh yeah, that's not.
And
yeah.
It was like upstairs in like a coffee. It was like a coffee shop, and then upstairs they had like a little. I don't even know if it was a stage, but like one side of the room there was a band, and then people stood on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
And there was like, I don't know, 20, 30 people in this tiny little room. It felt like rock stars, like just coming out to these people. And and that's sometimes like that like intimate setting can just be like, if everyone's into it, it can just feel like a legendary moment, as opposed to like, getting to play like one of the biggest clubs in town, and there's 100 people there, but the room looks empty because it's such a big space,
Yep.
Sometimes that the grandness of it, it kind of takes away from the moment. Like you're just kind of like this, it looks empty in here. Like there's people in here.
Yeah.
They're all over the place, but like, I see more floor than people. Like,
That's the truth. And have you ever, and just by the same token too, have you ever had any like what we would call Spinal Tap moments?
Which particular moment in Spinal Tap? Because I know a few of the bits, but I can't.
Oh, just how so many things with them just turned out disastrous. That's kind of what
Yes,
I mean by
okay.
it.
I mean, we've done gigs where like, you know, we did one gig, it was like a big fundraiser gig, tons of like really
Mhm.
big local acts on it. And like we show up and there's guys there like helping bands load on and off the stage, and then like we're like, hey, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Like all our friends are here, some of the bands we
Mhm.
really like are here, we can rock out for them, and we were really excited about it. And then like it's our turn to go on, the guys that are supposed to be helping us load on stage like disappear. So we're like, all right, no big deal. We'll put our stuff up on the stage. And then we get up there and like we've got like a keyboard and I've got a guitar. And the guy's like, well, we'll pick one because you can't have both. Like I can't do a keyboard and a guitar. You can either have the guitar or the keyboard. And I was just like, all right, that's like really weird. So I was like, all right, the guitar, we'll do the guitar, we'll make it work. And then we start playing and we're like 2 songs in and like the power just goes out on like half the stage.
Oh, jeez.
And we were just like, and then like they took them like 5 minutes to get that working. And then they were like, all right, you guys got 5 minutes left, so that ate into our time. And then it was like, and then everyone else went up. Nobody had any issues whatsoever. It was just our set was like a complete
Oh,
complete
God.
disaster. And we were just like, it's just one of those things where you're like, what is the point to any of this? Like,
Mhm.
it's like the universe is telling you to quit, but
Yeah, yeah.
we stuck it out. We had a few rough patches. Trying to think if there's anything else along them lines that has been disastrous. I mean, we've done gigs where like, you know, we sell 100 tickets and the other bands sell like, 20 combined, and it feels like why can't we just have a gig where everyone like really
Mhm.
brings it, and I've done gigs where like we were really excited to open for this band, and then like 10 people are there to watch them at the end of the night. It's
Yeah.
like I thought this band, like I thought people knew this band,
Mhm.
um but like the biggest surprises sometimes are just like I did like one where it was just like it was kind of a last minute thing, but it was the singer from Smile Empty Soul was just doing like an acoustic tour,
Mhm.
and so I guess he jumped on a show at Fish Head Cantina last second, and they were looking for some people to open for him, and I was like, I'll do what I can, but it's like 3 or 4 days away, so
Mhm.
I posted about the show and went and did the show, and there was like 10 or 15 people there all night, but I got to talk to the guy from Smile Empty Soul, and he was like, dude, I loved your set, and he signed a poster for me, and
Mhm.
his set was really good. Like he played some really good songs that were his songs, and I was like really like I really like respected that he was doing that, and
Mhm.
um and then like for all the big bands that we've opened for, like I think the best one we did was when we opened for Charm City Devils, who were
Mhm.
they're kind of like a local band, and we
Yeah,
did
John
like a
Allen's band.
yeah
Yeah,
and
yeah, the Child's Play, sure. Yep.
yeah and that packed house. It was a Halloween show, so a ton of
Mhm.
people were dressed up, and that was probably one of the best shows we've ever played. And I'm actually going to be playing with Jason, who's their drummer. He's going to do some gigs with me later
Oh,
this year.
oh, good, good. Yeah, he's they backed up Gina Shock not too long ago too. John Allen and that the drummer of his oh
Jason Heiser.
yes, yeah, Jason Heiser. They backed up it was about a year ago at the Hard Rock. Gina Shock was doing a tour to promote her book.
Oh
And
yeah,
him and Ed Lauer he plays down at Fells Point quite a bit.
yeah.
They all backed her up. They were her backup band. It was great.
That's cool. Yeah.
Hmm. But God, yeah, I remember. He's John Allen's in my age group. We're both from Dundalk. We didn't go to the same high school, but I've known those guys. I used to see them when I was in high school playing at dances and things, like school oriented things. And I mean, they were 16 doing hammerjacks. I mean, they were always a big deal around here, and
Yeah.
still have their following. And a lot of the people from back in those days too. you.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, a lot of people talk about the Hammerjacks days and stuff like that. I recently helped do an interview where this guy was interviewing Bud Becker. He was
Oh yeah.
talking about a lot of those old lot of those big stories from back in the day.
Oh,
You know,
Bud.
with Hammerjacks and Alexander Rolling Rink and some of those other places that he was helping with some of the bands that were coming in.
Bud's amazing. I've had him as a guest on this show probably at least 7 or 8 times, and always tells a great story. He's got so many of them. Did he tell you about the Doors?
Yeah, when they were at the roller rink and
Symbol Girl.
yeah, some lady wanted him to like say something about some sort of topic, and he was like, he told him to F off or something like that, right as he was walking on stage.
Right.
It's just like, it was just one of those things where it was just like, yeah. And they were like, I think just kind of blowing up at the time, maybe.
Yep.
So
Yep. And he Jim Morrison threw a cymbal stand out into the crowd and just clocked this girl right in the head, and she was bleeding like Carrie. You know, I mean, she was just covered in blood. Didn't leave, didn't want any medical attention, just kind of stuck around and everything. And never did find out who she was or how she turned out or if she's even alive now. I mean, if she's alive now, she would probably be in her mid-70s at least,
I mean, even back then seems almost like the Wild West compared to today,
Yeah. It was. Well, and things change over the years. It's kind of like there's always a trade-off. Some things are better, some things are worse, and that's just always the way it is. No matter what era you're playing in, it just seems to happen that way. So, well, Will, I mean, it's been great having you tonight. Finally, I gave you a chance to speak for once, so that's it's great, and I've really enjoyed having you on the show. Could you tell everybody where we can find out about you, find your music, find your show schedule?
Yeah, so you can have a website, whoiswillsims.com. I also have like all my social handles are Who Is Will Sims, facebook.com/whoiswillsims, Instagram, Twitter, Who Is Will Sims. And yeah, I've got a YouTube channel with videos and stuff, music videos, live videos, the whole nine. I've got music out on Spotify, Apple, all the places you can stream music. And yeah, I'll be playing all over Maryland this year. I'll be hitting the East Coast this year, doing some traveling, rocking out. And yeah, just trying to keep it moving. Got more music coming this year. Staying busy.
And everything that you have, like all your music on Spotify, it's for sale, downloadable and everything. And you have links when you're around on how to find your shows and how to get to your shows and everything. And I guess you post links to tickets and things whenever as they come, I guess, right?
Yeah, there's ticket links on my website. There's I have everything on Facebook's listed out.
Yeah.
I post my schedule on my socials. I've got there's some of those auxiliary sites like Bands in Town. I've got try to keep all my dates up on there. So yeah, it's a lot to keep up with, especially doing it myself, but yeah, I'm getting it done.
Yeah, well, great. Well, Will, again, best of luck to you with your travels and your shows and everything. And folks, look him up on his socials and on his website and everything. He's got some great material, well worth hearing. He's definitely a great performer. Great material. Come out and check him out wherever you may, whatever may be nearest to you or wherever you can get to see him and everything. Well worth it. So remember, Who Is Will Sims? And that ought to take you wherever you want to go to find out about Will. So again, thank you, Will, for joining us today. And
thank you again for having me.
And thank you all for listening. This is Fowl Players Radio, and we're signing off. We'll see you next time. And thanks again for tuning in tonight for our interview with Will Sims. He's singer, musician, and songwriter from the Baltimore area. Joining us tonight to talk about his music, his favorite venues, getting out on the road this year to spread his music. Who is Will Sims? will get you to just about all of his social media and his website. And well worth looking at. Definitely get out and support Will in his endeavors. The Fowl Players of Perryville are back in action. www.fowlplayersofperryville.com has listings on our calendar to all of our shows. If you're interested in booking us, 443-600-0446. And also, fowlplayersperryville@yahoo.com. Every Tuesday from 4 to 6, the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com. Remember to download the free app. You can listen to us wherever you go. And also, youtube.com/@97underground Michael Spedden for an archive of all the interviews I do on the show. We also want to remind you to thank you again for watching. We really appreciate your support. Remember, foulplayersradio.com, youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. Very, very important you hit that subscribe button, like us, give us an honest review. Let people know what you think. It really helps us with web trafficking and hits and getting the word out about what we're doing here. And we're also, again, trying to help all of these artists that we have as guests, both on 97 Underground and here, get their material heard and get it out there so everybody can enjoy it. Thank you again for tuning in, folks, and listening. And I'm signing off now. Michael Spedden signing off, and we will see you next time. Hello, listeners. We at Fowl Players Radio thank you for all of your support over the past 10 seasons and nearly 300 episodes. We would like to encourage you to keep listening and spread the word. Audio versions of all episodes can be found on our main website, fowlplayersradio.com, as well as on many of the other platforms you can see here. You can find all of our Season 9 and 10 episodes, as well as some best of episodes and shorts on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@fowlplayersradio. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to get alerts when new episodes are released. No matter what platform you choose to listen, you can help us greatly by hitting the subscribe button and giving us an honest review. You can also help us by supporting us at patreon.com/foulplayersradio or at buymeacoffee.com/foulplayerw. Your support makes it possible for us to continue to be your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. Be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for new episode announcements and news and updates on all of our guests. Thank you, and enjoy this episode.